Welcome to the Middle Ground Podcast, a platform where young people in South Africa can objectively engage in complex and pressing matters.
Hi, I'm Dan Lugwengu, this is Justin Downey, and you're watching the Middle Ground Podcast, where we objectively discuss complex and pressing matters which we believe that young people in South Africa from all walks of life should be discussing. So Justin, how about you tell the people a little bit more about what the Middle Ground Podcast is all about?
So Thando, the thing is, people consume a lot of media nowadays. We have Facebook, social media, it's huge, right? And what I found is that with this, there's a lot of conflicting information, there's a lot of people on opposite sides. It tends to be more people attacking each other, it tends to be very confrontational. It isn't really a place where you can voice an opinion without getting something back, or whatever else is happening in that kind of environment is never really generating positive results. So I've been thinking about it, and I've kind of recognized this problem where people like to classify themselves into certain boxes. People like to fit themselves into certain boxes, and I don't really agree with it all that much. I feel like it does more to generate a divide between people instead of bringing people together. I feel like we need to remember, regardless of race, gender, sexual orientation, that at the end of the day, we are still humans fundamentally. And this podcast pretty much aims to bridge that, to bring people together with opposing viewpoints, to discuss things in a meaningful way, so that we actually come to solutions to our problems, so that we actually allow people to understand us. I feel one of the biggest problems today is with certain people feel, they don't understand me, they don't understand what I've been through. And I understand that you'll never be able to have someone's exact perspective or understand what they've been through in their life because you haven't walked in their shoes. But I feel like we can bring people together to a certain amount of understanding of one another, so much so that you can generate respect through understanding. And I feel that's a very important thing in a modern society where politics, news, all these kinds of things divide us. We need an agent for change. We need something that brings people back together, back to the table, discussing things. And I feel like that solves more problems than we care to admit.
And I think, you're mentioning, problem solving and communication discussion. I mean, sometimes the gap or the difference between understanding and conflict is communication and dialogue. And I think, this can be a great platform in which, people can come together from all walks of life and have those pressing discussions, those uncomfortable conversations, and we can objectively discuss them in order to come to an understanding and hopefully move forward.
Yes, this ties into my point of debate. You see, I'm not a big fan of debate. If I debate better than you, generally I win the debate, where you might have had the better points or actually been in the right. And I want to normalize the fact that people don't have to have binary options. We don't have to have left and right. We don't have to have liberal and conservative. We don't have to have these kind of boxes that we fit into, that we can actually operate outside of those bounds, that we can broaden our knowledge and broaden our horizons and understand new things, new topics. Recently, with all the hype on social media surrounding Black Lives Matter, surrounding gender-based violence, all these very meaningful, very powerful movements, I've actually started to learn new things. I've actually started to broaden my own horizons. I've started understanding why people are saying what they're saying, when often we have conflict like Black Lives Matter, what about all other lives? But that might not be what they're saying, but that's how other people are reacting. And the key difference between the two isn't that one person's racist towards black people and one's all for black rights. It's not always that. Most of the time, it's understanding. Most of the time, it's the fact that they don't understand what you mean when you say Black Lives Matter. They don't understand what you mean when you say men are trash. They don't understand what you mean when you say white privilege. You see, these terms, they're very new. Now, with very new terms comes a large sphere of misunderstanding, of misconception. And I feel like the media plays on that a lot. I feel like they don't mind pushing those angles, because when you divide people, you create, you create a discussion in a sense, but not a meaningful one. You create one side trying to shout out their point, another trying to shout out their point. And in reality, what does that solve? Nothing. It just drives people further apart. And I understand media agencies make money off that. Today, I was watching Gareth Cliff's new show, So What Now? And they literally had tweets from CNN. 2 different tweets on how they said one thing was good, And then Donald Trump said it, and then they were like, "No, well now it's bad." And I just had a laugh. I honestly, I found it funny. I said to myself, I said, that's how they make their money.
Yeah.
That doesn't align with me.
Yeah.
That doesn't sit well with me. I feel that we can be a platform for change. I feel like we can empower youth through having our voices out there, through bringing people from different facets, different walks of life, as you said earlier, together, and we can actually have meaningful conversation and find solutions to these problems. Educate people that might not have just understood something because it was never presented to them. I feel like in this information age, everything can fly right past you so quickly with so many new things happening that it's almost impossible to keep up. And I feel like together we can achieve something like that.
Yeah, 100%. So I really agree with Justin. I couldn't agree more. So this is the About Us episode of the Middle Ground podcast. We hope you enjoyed it, and that was clear enough to give you an understanding of the topics we'll be discussing. Thank you for watching, and tune in for the next episode.
Please like and subscribe, and we hope you enjoy it. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode. Feel free to share your thoughts and contribute possible solutions to this week's topic.